And we are back again. It's your friendly neighborhood film watchers. We are Frankly Football. I'm your humble host, Brandon, and I got my man, 100 grand. Set it off, Chris, with me. How you feeling tonight, Chris?
What's up, man? Just getting down, doing what we do, man. Trying to get ready for camp. Been ripping and running. Had to change things
Mm-hmm.
around a little bit. Had a little extra space because I got a kid at my house. So I decided to make it, the new stew. So let's get it cracking, man. How many
Yes,
days
sir.
before camp, buddy?
Uh, Today is the 16th, so we got exactly 10 days before the Cowboys are set to arrive in Oxnard, California.
Okay, so 10
10
days
days, Chris.
before. 10 days before we get into getting back in, first couple of days, but 10 days before all the fireworks. Everybody got to show up. Who ain't
Yeah.
going to show up? Who is going to show up and going from there? Right?
Yep. That's right.
Right. Okay. All right. So let's go over some of the hot topics that have been over this relatively quiet 5 weeks, which
Mm-hmm.
everybody wants, man. Every
Yeah.
team wants to go into this 5 week period where they can't have any contact with the players, coaches, and players. And the Cowboys have relatively stayed quiet. Only big things that happen. You caught some videos of Tyron Smith getting married and his homeboys coming to celebrate with him.
Yeah.
And you always want to have that. But I think the big overarching thing that we've been talking about since the season ended, especially since the season restarted in March, is
Yeah.
these unsigned contracts.
That's that is like the gloomy cloud that is hovering over this whole offseason, right?
I mean, absolutely. When you've got everybody on a 1-year deal, Ray Dakota loves to say pressure's a privilege, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody's walking around trying to figure out where their money at.
Yeah.
You're looking at Mike McCarthy on a lame duck deal, Mike
Mm-hmm.
Zimmer coming in on a 1-year deal.
Yes.
Your franchise second MVP, All Pro quarterback with no new deal. You
Yep.
got your All Pro wide receiver with no new deal, and then
Yeah.
you've got your All World outside linebacker, pass rusher, sitting there, not showing up for OTAs and things of that nature, but saying I ain't
Mm-hmm.
getting paid for it, so why am I showing up?
Yeah.
So it's a couple of different things, but nothing too crazy.
And yeah, man, I think the contract situations can definitely cause a lot more friction than what needs to happen, especially once training camp arrives. Because all of the other stuff, even though OTAs are mandatory, guys skip that stuff all of the time. Aaron Rodgers took 4 days
Well,
off just to go
well
on a vacation to Egypt. You know?
yeah, I mean, well, they're voluntary. They're voluntary mandatory, but I can
Yeah,
totally understand. Yeah,
exactly.
voluntary
Exactly.
mandatory, right?
Like
So
I said, Aaron Rodgers planned a vacation at that time. He planned a vacation.
yeah,
I've had many vacations where I've had to reschedule. He decided
because
not to do it.
because your job said to be there. I mean, I can understand that. Yeah, and so it causes some different things, but just staying on topic, really kind of nailing it down with the Cowboys, the signing or restructuring or new deals that would be put in place would give us more room and make us more cap friendly, make
Yeah.
us have the ability to make some different moves that we may have to make in the middle of this arduous march to try to get through the regular season and go as far as we can in the postseason. So it would
Mm-hmm.
make sense. But deadlines makes deals. That's Jerry's favorite term, so he
Yeah.
wants to wait to the very last hour. The only problem for the working man, for you and I and the other great content creators out here that we associate with and know, they don't make everything to the point where it's advantageous for the Cowboys for them to make it so they can make different moves when need be.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So,
absolutely agree.
right.
The only star player, of recent memory that the Cowboys have drafted in the last 5 years that they signed early was Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah, they got Trey done. Well, no, that's still around. Trayvon Diggs, who they did early, they did Jalen Smith's contract early. Hey man, I'm just saying, bro. If we're gonna be out here telling the truth, let's tell the whole truth.
That's
You signed
fair.
you signed a linebacker with a bad knee that you already knew was unrepaired early. You signed a running back that you didn't have to sign early, who came
Mm-hmm.
back, who has little to no tread on his tires, but that's another video.
Yep.
But you will not sign your franchise quarterback. And that kind of leads us into, some different things we want to talk about. Because now you're looking at, when you're talking about contracts, you're looking at our quarterback room. You look at a quarterback room where there's there's the clear-cut starter.
Yes.
There's the backup nobody wants to see, and there's the fourth round pick unknown guy who nobody thinks can play, which really makes you mad because it hurts another part. It hurts another part of your football team, but it also leaves you in this limbo of, do you want to pay your franchise quarterback and make him set the market straight and pay him $60 million a year? So what's your thoughts on that, B?
So I'm pulling up the 10 highest paid quarterback salaries right now as we speak, right? I don't have my second monitor right here, so I can't do it on my screen.
Gotcha.
Because
okay.
I got you right here, Chris. So I got the whole world in the palm of my hands.
Go ahead,
pulling
man.
up the highest paid quarterbacks per year right now, right? And I'm gonna go down this list 1 through 10, and then I'm gonna explain why I believe that Dak should be there, and any gripes against it, kind of hogwash.
Okay.
I've been using the word hogwash lately, trying it out.
Okay.
Right? So tied for one, you got 1A and 1B is Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence. They are averaging, and I'm just gonna go by the averages, right? They are averaging $55 million a year.
Okay.
Next, you got Jared Goff, who is averaging $53 million a year.
Okay.
Next, you have Justin Herbert, who is averaging $52 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Then there is Lamar Jackson at number 5, averaging. Excuse me. And by the way, Justin Herbert's averaging 52.5. So that half counts as this much, right?
It's money.
Yep. So next is Lamar Jackson at number 5 with $52 million a year. 6 is Jalen Hurts with $51 million a year. 7 is Kyler Murray at $46.1 million per year. 8 is Deshaun Watson at $46 million a year. 9 is Kirk Cousins. Well, 9 and 10. Kirk Cousins and Patrick Mahomes at $45 million per year. So here's the thing. Besides Patrick Mahomes, let's see, Jared Goff. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes and Jared Goff are the only, and Jalen Hurts. They're the only ones on this list who have, and I guess Joe's been there too.
You gotta put Joe Burrow. You gotta put Joe Burrow.
Joe has been there too.
Well, you got Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow, Jared Goff,
Patrick Mahomes,
Jalen Hurts, and Pat Mahomes. Those are the only 4 who have been to a Super Bowl on this list, right?
Okay.
Pat is the only one that has won one.
Okay.
And his deal is kind of like weird in a sense that they just kind of flip a switch and they give him all of his money on the front end in signing bonuses just to keep his averages down.
Okay. So what's your question, my boy? Because
it's not a question. It's not a question.
Okay.
Quarterback is one of those positions where it's just the next guy up.
Okay.
Dak Prescott has a very similar career arc as Jared Goff, as Justin Herbert. I got a lot of gripes about Justin Herbert. I've talked about this before. Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence are the quarterbacks that are paid off of hype. What you think they can do, not what they've done, right?
Yeah, it's all on. They're getting paid off stature, rankings, and potential. So
is Trevor Lawrence still getting paid off of his accolades from college?
He's the number 1 pick. He was the number 1 pick in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And what we like to bang on him about his first year in the league was under Urban Myers, which was an absolute utter shit show.
Dumpster fire.
Yeah, dumpster fire. So pure hogwash, as you would say, his first year. So being that that's the case, he's to the point where we're giving him some time, where we're giving him some grooming, but his time in the league hasn't gone away. He played hurt a lot last year, and with him playing hurt a lot last year, that kind of diminished their opportunities to win. He is the absolute best thing that the Jacksonville Jaguars have right now. So we know, as being Cowboy fans, when your quarterback's the best thing that you do, any little thing to topple it, really sets everything in the motion of not succeeding and going in the direction you want to go. But It was his time to get paid. Let's go ahead and trigger him. Let's go ahead and get him paid early. Get some of that cap relief that smart NFL franchises do by signing your franchise player early and be able to spread that thing out a little bit. Has he reached his full potential? By no means. Is his arc moving in a direction where I trust Trevor Lawrence? Right now, I'm probably at about a 40% with that. I love him. I've always called him Sunshine, because I'm a big movie buff and remember the Titans, Ronnie Bash, that type of thing, And so I like the fact of the matter that he got his money. Justin Herbert, on the other hand, absolute hype machine. Yep. I've never been to this point that he was this great guy. Reminds me of another quarterback, out of the same college that's about to get somebody ass fired, Bo Nix. But that ain't my problem. That ain't my issue. I'm just a YouTuber, man. So I've never been a big fan of Justin Herbert, and now they're paying him all this money, but they got a coach that don't like to trust the quarterback to throw the football. Kind of funny situation, but we'll deal with that at a later date when we start talking about the league and later on in the season. But the highest paid guy is at $55 million, right?
Yes.
So my question is this thing about Dak or Rain needing $60 million or him being the first $60 million quarterback. I'm just to the point. Can I make him the first $57 million quarterback? And how much does that save me so that I can have competent quarterback play? Because for you and I, in our lifetime, this organization under Jerry Jones has not been I can pick a quarterback out the draft and make this thing go. And if you think I'm lying, go back to the very beginning and look at their very first time that they had the opportunity to do it. They go get Detroit. Go ahead.
Now, one thing I will say is that number only goes up the longer they wait, because I guarantee that Tua Tagovailoa's team is asking themselves the same thing, because even though he kind of falls in line with a lot of these guys in this group, if they can get him for 57 instead of 58 or 59 or 60, all of these questions are asked about all of the same questions are being asked about the same guys.
I mean, but it still always goes back to this thing here, right? You're looking at right now, if Rain gets paid what he gets paid, Tua gets paid what he gets paid, nobody's going to blink an eye when the guy in San Francisco gets his contract, because they're going to think, oh, that's a great move. It makes sense. This, that, and the third. Because he's sitting back the whole while everybody's talking about those two guys, right? With proven track records, right? They're still going to sit back, and they all know in their hearts of hearts that guy, they don't trust him to win the game. They definitely believe he's a system guy. Oh, yeah. They believe he has all the requisite tools around him, all the different things around him makes him look great, but they don't want to say, hey, I'm going to put that much money in him. But let's stay back on what we said. My feeling right now in my quarterback room and the contract that has not been resolved, it's better to go and get that done, because I don't want to live in a world where I say at the end of this season, put good, bad, or indifferent, I've got to pay him at the top of the market if he goes and gets the ultimate prize, or I have to go out here and try to draft a quarterback, because you're not going to be that bad to the point where you're going to get one of those top tier guys anyway. If you were going to go get a guy last year, this past draft was a year to go get it. Next year, go ahead. Yeah, I know. Listen, man, we understand. And listen, man, I know. B, we know.
I heard that. I heard that over there. Oh, you said it too? Oh, yeah. I heard it.
Hey, B,
I'll get the flowers later. I'll get the flowers later. Just leave them over there. I'll get them later.
Right, but even with that, you're still looking at right now. Next year's not the year to do it.
Yeah,
you're not going to be bad enough to do it, because your team hasn't fallen off that much that you're going to be in that position to go get one of those top tier guys. Yeah. And because this team doesn't like to deal with the third phase of team building, which is full free agency, right? You're really just competing and bidding against yourself.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all you're really, really doing. So, right now, man, uh, I love my quarterback room. Rain Dakota Prescott's going to do what he does, uh, week in, week out, and this football team will go as far as Rain takes them. But
To
I
quote Jerry
think,
Jones.
yeah, I mean, but I think there will be uh, a counterpart to help them this year, in the fact that I might have a defense that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't get up to big games and gives up 45, 35, 55 points, that keeps me in a football game where I have a chance to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not make dumb mistakes to to put me behind the eight ball in certain situations.
Yeah, definitely. And you got real linebackers. You
Ah,
got real
oh
linebackers.
man, that's it, man. We got so much work to get in on that. So, what is your feeling about the backup quarterbacks? How do you feel about that?
Um, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I want to see as much Trey Lance as possible. In the preseason games, Dak is he not new to this, so you can give him a drive and then a quarter and then a half, and that's all he needs in the preseason games.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, besides that, I don't need to see Cooper Rush anymore. Um, they pushed him out the door once and then brought him back. Cool, I'm glad that they did, but Trey Lance is Cooper Rush's main competition. Um, and they spent draft capital on him, like real draft capital. Fourth rounders are kind of precious in this team.
I mean, a fourth rounder this year could have got you the running back that would have made you feel great about your running back room.
Or a receiver. Tez Walker from UNC went in the
Right,
fourth round. A fourth rounder could have got you Tez Walker
right. So
because
yeah, that's
Baltimore picked Tez Walker in the fourth round.
so
Dallas picked ahead of Baltimore in the fourth round, and yeah, a
so.
fourth rounder could have gotten you a receiver. And once we talk about how I and that's gonna be maybe our next video. I don't know. But once we talk about how we feel about the receiver position, and I'll circle back to that, right? But a fourth rounder in this team is kind of precious because we draft well, right? Other teams don't draft well. I was talking with a friend of mine who's a Ravens fan today, right? And that's the only reason that I knew just right off the bat that Tez Walker was a fourth round pick. The Ravens have invested 5 picks since Lamar Jackson has come into the league. 5 picks in the first 2 days at receiver. It's kind of debatable if they've hit on any of them, besides say Flowers at the moment. Hollywood, he's had 1,000-yard season. Devin Duvernay, eh, you know.
Just
Um,
Bateman.
yeah, Bateman always hurt. So yeah. And then they drafted another guy the same year they drafted Hollywood in the third round. Yeah, I don't
Okay.
even remember his name.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, but they're taking stabs at it.
Oh yeah,
So
But
they're
here's the thing. Those picks are less valuable to that team because they don't really draft that position. They don't really draft well, right? They missed on 5 picks in the first 2 days since
I,
since 2020. They missed in 5 picks in the last 2 days. In the
I,
first 2 days, excuse me.
okay. I would say that of all the positions that they draft, because I believe Baltimore is an excellent drafting football team. I think they
Sure,
are. But I think they are missing in that area with
yeah,
wide
sure.
receivers.
And they seem to be doing it heavily, right? They are
Right.
diving into that swimming pool heavily.
Yeah, well, they're trying to find their complement
Mm-hmm.
for their pass game because
Yeah,
they don't want to be to the point where Mark Andrews is their best guy. They need a complement where they want their wide receiver to be their number one, and then
yeah,
to complement with a pass catching tight end, and then you could simulate it with maybe a second receiver or a third receiver. So
yeah,
I understand their trepidation, but I do believe that they made Zay Flowers was a good pick,
yeah, yeah,
and he works, but it's just one of those things where you got to keep chopping wood,
yeah, absolutely,
especially in
absolutely.
that area of drafting players that you can feel can add to your football team and get that solved. But
now,
yeah, go ahead.
here's why I mentioned that. A fourth rounder or a third rounder or etc. in Dallas has much more value because we don't generally miss on too many positions too often. You know,
We missing the second round. Don't make it seem like
well, yeah. But that's
we
because
all buckets.
we got habits. We got habits. We pick a certain kind of we pick a character from a certain demographic in the second round, right?
Hey man, first off, in the second round, we be out here shooting blanks. Listen,
Hey, look.
outside of Trayvon, right? Outside of Trayvon that you kept, we have a long history of like, who the hell did we get in the second round? Type of looks on our faces when it comes to that. But I feel you on that. So I mean, we got to make some. That fourth round pick is going to come up huge. But even if Trey Lance sets it on fire, I mean, go out here and look like the second coming of Marino, Steve Young, Fran Tarkington, the ghost of daggone Roger Staubach and everybody.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is that they don't.
Right now, he's your backup. That's
right
the
now,
fact
he's
of the
your
matter.
backup.
Right now, he's your backup.
Right, he's your backup, and it's a small sample size. And here's the problem: they've had him in their building for a whole year, and they haven't really said anything about it.
That's true.
They're not good at. They're the worst. They're the worst. I'm keeping a secret type football team in NFL. So
yeah, absolutely.
Let's keep it a buck and believe that Trey Lance might not be the deal. So it puts all the chips back in the Reigns position.
Yep.
He's always been willing to bet on himself, right? And unless he gets hurt, you're not going to be in position to go get a top flight guy.
Yeah.
Because every time he's been hurt, all he's done is take his team to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Every year that he has not been injured, all that dude has done is try almost win the division and definitely get to the playoffs.
And the fact of the matter is that no matter what, even if Dallas chooses not to pay him, someone will.
Oh, somebody will.
And
then that means he won't be a Dallas Cowboy anymore.
Yeah, I mean that's just the reality of things. I'm all about guys getting their money.
Guys to get paid. Got to get paid. But that's it. All we got on the 5-week dead period and our quarterback room.
Yeah.
So and the way I feel is, hey, I hope Rain has a great camp.
Yeah.
I hope Trey Lance has great preseason games and we can flip him for something.
Yeah.
Maybe a cold Gatorade instead of the warm Gatorade we got for him. And let's hope he gets his money.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
all
sir.
Right.
So
right,
if you haven't already, click that like button. That's probably like right here. know, and then his buddy, the subscribe button is should be like right here. Go ahead, give him a punch.
Yeah,
because if you want to see more, top tier content like this, more great Cowboys conversations that me and Chris have all the time, you got to let us know. Leave a comment down below. Hey,
no doubt.
Brandon's room situation is changing. I have my guest bedroom and I'm constantly renovating every week or so. Hey. Chris's Cowboys has his top tier. Chris's son is going to be one of the best receivers in the state, and we can't wait to see him once college roll around. I'm looking for him on NCAA, by the way. I just got that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We'll talk about that offline.
No doubt. But as always, Chris says he's the Robin to the Batman, but no, for every Captain America, you need a winter soldier. So it's not really a Batman and Robin, bro. It always comes together like a cohesive unit.
No doubt.
And until next time, this is Franklin Football. Peace.